Remember VCRs, typewriters, telephones with rotary dials rather than keypads, landline phones? Have you ever used any of those? As technology marches on, ordinary items that you couldn't envisage living without are substituted for new products that are more efficient and practical. But are these the only factors? Some products disappear due to the lack of its production. Let's see 10 such items that are not available in retail stores. 1. Honey. 2023 looks like one of the worst honeybee years in nearly 2 decades. Experts stated that the past winter saw record losses for beekeepers, and one expert says the prospects for next year are even worse if they face another frigid winter. Beekeepers across the country have faced average losses of nearly 45%, with some bee farms seeing losses as high as 90%. Leonard Foster, a biochemistry and molecular biology educator at the University of British Columbia, commented that these losses will be staggering the long-term chronological average, which was around 12 to 15%. Over the last probably 12 to 15 years, it actually rose about 27%. Still very high, but 45% is a record and very hard to take, he expressed to the media. On top of the unseasonably cold winter, beekeepers have also had extreme heat waves. The proliferation of the varroa might be a parasitic mite that feeds on honeybees. Certainly, these heat waves are not great for bees. They also tend to dry out the plant and make less nectar available for bees to forage on so that they are produced. The honey crop, Foster said that's why consumers are already dealing with less variety and surging costs. 2. Fish. With other protein sources facing price increases from 17 to 40%, demand for tinned fish is surging nationwide. But America's fisheries and aquaculture industry has seen edible fish production collapse by 64% since 2019, with a loss of over 900 million pounds of fish. All that is thanks to abnormally hot temperatures disrupting fish reproduction and decimating millions of aquatic animals. Tin fish, in certain, has lately become very famous not only for its affordability, but TikTok videos that went viral as chefs shared recipes transforming this humble protein into elaborate meals. According to published reports, big companies like Bumblebee, more commonly associated with canned tuna, are expanding their product line to meet the surging demand. But that can take months, and for now, supplies in stores are still shrinking. Even renowned investor and Rich Dad Poor Dad writer Robert Kiyosaki took to social media to warn about the impending food crisis and advised the public to stock up on tuna cans. Robert Kiyosaki says the best investments are cans of tuna and baked beans. You can't eat gold, silver, or Bitcoin. You can eat cans of tuna and baked beans, he wrote. 3. Ice cream. One of our favorite treats may be sold out at supermarkets this summer. As with butter, the collapse of milk supplies is causing a noticeable drop in the production of ice cream. The industry is facing ingredient shortages, including scarce supplies of vanilla. Styrofoam cups and lids are also harder to find, which is further delaying the packing process at plants and adding pressure on food retailers that already started to order for the next season. If you've not yet, stock up on your favorite ice cream before it's too late. 4. Beef. Of all the food shortages reported in 2023, United States consumers may feel the beef shortage the most, especially as barbecue season begins. Ranchers were forced to sharply reduce their cattle herds due to shortages of feed, skyrocketing costs, and extreme weather. And although that increased the domestic supply in the short term, as months have gone by, stocks have started to look increasingly scarce. Producers say it will take quite a while before the situation stabilizes. It takes over 24 months for cattle herds to be overhauled if external disruptions such as drought and feed and water shortages do not occur. If we're lucky, temperatures this summer will be milder, and this problem will be fixed by 2025. But if we aren't, we're talking about a persistent shortage of meat dragging on for years and taking our beloved burgers and steaks away from our tables. 5. Farm-grown produce. Farm-grown fruits and vegetables have been some of the biggest fertilizer shortage victims during the pandemic, and exponentially worsened after the conflict between Russia and Ukraine broke out, and the world lost 2 major producers of NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, the 3 preliminary elements plants need to grow. At the peak of the shortage, farmers were seeing fertilizer prices shooting up 700%. And that was right. When planting season began, many small producers that could not afford such exorbitant costs started abandoning their less profitable crops. Drought also played a major role during the summer of 2022, and now we are witnessing the effect of this at the grocery store, with normal aisles fairer than normal. 6. Mayonnaise. Eggs, oil, lime juice, and vinegar are blended to create mayonnaise. It's a creamy, thick sauce. It's a useful source of essential vitamins, minerals, potassium, sodium, lipids, and carbohydrates. As a result, its intake is linked to several health advantages. This involves maintaining heart health-enhancing blood sugar levels, lower inflammation, stimulating the growth of healthy hair, skin, and nails, and hydrating rough and chapped skin. But widespread egg shortages have had a knock-on effect on mayonnaise production. The concern is so extensive that major rice manufacturer Hellmann's announced it was discontinuing sales in many countries due to rising production costs. As per the Consumer Price Index, the cost of mayonnaise has jumped about 18.2% in the last year. 7. Dr. Pepper. Just as in 2022, a shortage of Dr. Pepper is hitting major US supermarkets. Disruptions in manufacturing plants caused by labor shortages and scarce ingredients are making this. Beloved soda brand ditched some of its flavors to focus on best-selling products this year, as one of the biggest media firms reported. The statement acknowledged the situation in a tweet, noting that it is committed to fixing the problem and working to get its products back on grocery shelves. 8. Pharmaceuticals. After triple damage left pharmacies only over the US, without flu and pain medication this winter, and empty shelves for ibuprofen, Tylenol, and amoxicillin, US consumers should expect more medicine shortages this summer. And that is per the reports the Food and Drug Administration documented. The problem is that common medicines provide very thin margins for pharmaceutical companies, leaving little incentive for producers to build up the excess stock capacity. On the other hand, consumer demand has held steady, and the capacity is difficult and expensive to ramp up due to the lack of flexibility in the tools and procedures employed to make these substances. There is no short-term capacity solution for this. John Gray, a professor of operations with Ohio State University Fisher's College of Business, told that the supply chain dive early this year. For millions of Americans, this isn't just an inconvenience, but a life-threatening situation. The FDA has worked for over a decade to combat pharmaceutical shortages, but when the problem hits a global scale, there is just so much the agency can do to ensure reliable supplies. 9. Tequila. You may not be able to enjoy margaritas and other cocktails made with tequila this summer. Agave, a succulent used in beverage production, grows in 6 states in Mexico, with the largest producer being Jalisco. But extreme weather changes, including high temperature, drought, and sudden delicious rain, have damaged delicate agave plants. The past few years of unusual dryness have hurt the production of agave crops grown to produce tequila, and experts say this weather pattern is not changing anytime soon. The high temperatures have also become a growing concern for the Mexican long-nosed bat, a key pollinator species for the agave plant. Pollinators such as butterflies, bats, and bees worldwide are experiencing enormous population declines, with potential catastrophic implication for the plants they pollinate. You wouldn't have tequila if you had no bats, because that's the only thing that pollinates the agave plant that makes tequila, explains Ron McGill, the communications supervisor and wildlife expert at Miami Zoo. Agave growers and tequila producers bear apprehension that the combination of other changes, pollinated disruption, and the increasing desirability of premium tequila brands may make the rapid growth of the tequila market unsustainable and cause extensive tequila shortages as growing demand does not have the supply to meet it. 10. Chickpeas. Vegans, non-vegetarians, and everyone who loves good hummus is gonna miss this nutritious green. Chickpea production is way down this year. That's thanks to the double punch of the Ukraine crisis and climate change. Both Russia and Ukraine are important chickpea producers, and the conflict has damaged their ability to export their products. Over the past 12 months, volatile weather in the US has also ranked the chickpea crop there. Fewer chickpeas results in pricier hummus, and if you make it yourself, you may find the raw ingredients for this delicious spread to be up quite a bit in cost too. Modern farmers note that the humble chickpea is another food supply chain crisis victim, although this time it's on a global scale. What do you guys think? Are these the only things you miss in the retail store? Have you ever wondered how these items can return to nearby shops? Supply chains are still coping with one major challenge after another, and the crisis may persist for longer than we're prepared. Comment what other items you've noticed stocked in the retail stores. Until then, goodbye.